So welcome back everyone. So here's another episode on the microbiome. So please stick around till the end. I'll give you about 6 or 7 fruits or vegetables that are really beneficial, and I'll also mention some of the active ingredients. So why or how can we keep our microbiome healthy? So we need a healthy microbiome to really increase health, boost our homeostasis, our system, and help to have serotonin for our brains, have bone health balance, because our microbiome sends signals throughout the rest of our bodies, and it's interacting with all the organs and all the systems around our bodies to keep everything balanced and in a homeostasis. So we know that each system, each organ has its own specific function. So the liver deals with for example, cholesterol formation, hormone formation, glucose storage, toxin elimination. Our kidneys deal with pH balance of the blood, blood pressure, blood volume, electrolyte balance. Our lungs deal with our oxygen and carbon dioxide balance. So each system has its own function, and that's all influenced by our microbiome. Our microbiome influences everything. It's where all the nutrients are absorbed. It's where health starts. So we want a healthy microbiome to really stimulate and assist and help all of these other systems. And we know that you need a biodiversity. You need diversity in your microbiome. And the strains matter. Where the strains are matter as well. You need certain strains of bacteria in your mouth. You need certain strains in your gut. You need certain strains on your skin. You have in your nose, your eyes, your ears. All of your different orifices or spaces in your body requires different kinds of bacteria. So what influences this bacteria? So to start on the outside, the soap that you use, the shampoo, the conditioners, the makeup, the creams, the lotions, the deodorants, the antiperspirants, all of these things that you put on the outside of your body, the sunscreen, all of these things have an influence. All of them are impacting your bacteria. And that bacteria is also going in and going to your microbiome, which is influencing your microbiome. What you are eating, the amount of sun you get, the fresh air, the water, the vibrations, the sound, the electromagnetic waves, all of these impact your microbiome in your body, because bacteria are sensitive to things like microwaves. It's sensitive to sounds, because those waves are vibrating them, the movement, the fresh air or polluted air, polluted water or fresh water. So water is the first one I'll talk about. Water that you are drinking should be pure. There shouldn't be things added. It can be mineral water or natural spring water or clean mountain river water. Those will be your best sources, or like iceberg or like the pure water from that's been frozen. Those are very good sources of water. The ones that you get out of the tap, there are lots of additives in there. They add chlorine and bleach. There's all the things that people throw down the drains. Medicines. There's lots of antibiotics in there. It affects our hormone balance if you have just tap water, unless your tap water comes from a natural underground source that has not been contaminated. Because of all this waste that we have, it's going somewhere. So what do people do with medication they can't use? They flush it down the toilet or they flush it down the drain. Where does that water go? To a treatment plant that just filters it and takes the sediment out, and then whoop, there it goes off again, and you're going to drink it. So it's not removing all the micro elements. So yes, water has to be pure. What do people do if they have medication left that they haven't used? They flush it down the toilet, so it goes down the drain. So these antibiotics are staying in the water system. It's accumulating. It's not really getting removed out of the filtration that they are doing. So you can have a filter at your home as well to filter these out. You get different kinds. You can get magnetic filters. You can just get porous filters. You get different stage filters as well, which will also be beneficial to just remove all of these particles. But the other side is you also don't want to remove too much, because you want some of those beneficial minerals and bacteria in the water to come into your body and work there as well. So water is a big one. Then, as I said, air is also a big one. So you want clean air, non-polluted air, fresh air. So you want to go out in nature where there are lots of trees, where there are streams, where there is the ocean is fantastic, because the ocean, as the waves are breaking, it's giving off vapor, this wonderful salty ocean vapor that will moisturize and heal your skin. That's also a benefit if you can swim in the ocean, because that will heal your skin. It will soothe your skin. If you have any cuts or bruises or things, the ocean water will help you heal that. So that's another thing. So pure air, pure water. Then you also want to be active. Your microbiome is as active as you are. So the more active it is, the better. The more the bacteria will grow, the healthier the bacteria will be, and the happier they will be. So if you have not slept for a night, the next morning you feel terrible. That starts with your microbiome, because they have not slept. They also have a circadian rhythm, just like we do, that your body is in this daily rhythm where it has to sleep, it has to rest, it has to be active. So your microbiome also wants to be active. So the more exercise you have, the healthier your microbiome will be, the more diverse your microbiome will be, and the more absorptive area there will be in your intestines. So then stress. You also want to reduce stress. So not too much sunlight, not going to places where there's air pollution, or washing your body then after being in a polluted place. So your environment is very important for a healthy gut microbiome. You also want contact with nature. You want contact with trees, with soil, with living things. You want that contact to build your microbiome, to be exposed to different bacteria, so your body gets that exposure, that it builds up the memory in your immune system, so that it knows these things and that it gets used to them. So then your immune system will be stronger, or more likely to fight off a broader range of bacteria or viruses. There are also many gases out there that are harmful to us. So for example, if you're going to fill your car with petrol or gasoline, that gas that's coming off is dangerous to our bodies. It's going to influence your DNA replication. The toxins and additives in your food. There are more than 3,000 food additives that are approved by the FDA, but they have not fully been tested, and the effect on our microbiome is not known. So they affect your microbiome and they can break it down. Processed sugars can influence our microbiome. Animal products influence our microbiome. Like I said, sounds, toxins that we are consuming, the pesticides, the herbicides, all of these things influence our microbiome. So we need to be mindful of what we are doing in our everyday lives to decrease this exposure. So for example, if you are cooking something, you are mindful and careful not to burn yourself at the stove. So the same in our environment. You need to look out for the healthy and the unhealthy things in your environment, and try to limit the time you are around them, or limit your time or your exposure to them. So this will lead to a healthier body, a healthier microbiome, so that you then decrease your risk of getting these serious non-communicable diseases like heart disease, like cancer, diabetes, Alzheimer's, all of these debilitating diseases. So then I also just touched on your DNA or gene replications. There are about 10,000 interactions or gene manipulations, replications or changes in a day, and they can either be good or bad. So we want to put things in that will make good genes, good DNA to replicate and switch on the healthy genes that will protect you and will not harm you. We also then need to look at what is healthy for us to eat. So a whole plant-based, whole foods plant-based diet has been found to be the best because it is high in fiber, high in phytonutrients, and it is also very nutrient dense. And it also is very fluid dense, and it contains the fluid that's in the same balance as what is in our bodies. So fruits have 70, 80, 90% water. Our bodies are upwards of 60, 70% water. Our brains are more than 75% water. So we want to consume things that matches this water content so that we can have a better balance in our bodies. So we want to consume nutrient-dense, fiber-rich, phytonutrient-rich foods, and the phytonutrients are mostly contained in the skins of fruit. So we also want to consume the skins. So if you can add the skin of an orange into your smoothie, or add the rind to your muffins or to your baking. The same with grapefruit. So these fruits which the skin we often throw away or don't eat, we need to try and consume the skin as well, because a lot of the phytonutrients are contained in the skin, like the resveratrol, the catechins, the lycopene. They are all contained in the skins of fruit and leaves. So we want this, and in the mushrooms. So the protective things, the things that protect the plants will protect us. So, for example, mushrooms are prone to viral and bacterial disease. So what do? They have strong antiviral, antibacterial layers that protect them. So when we consume the mushroom, we are consuming those antiviral, antibacterial layers, and they will act in the same way in our bodies. So then let's look at how food has been changed, the breeding of food. It's not been done to increase the nutrients. By doing all these things that they are doing, they're decreasing the nutrients. For example, with the processing of wheat, it's taking away all of the nutrients, the nutritious parts of the kernel of this wheat, the wheat kernel. They take everything away and it just leaves the white part, which has no nutrients. So it's done to increase shelf life, lower the time from planting to harvest so that it has the most shelf life. So you pick it green, it ripens, and they add gases and ethylene and things to make it ripen, or they store it at cold temperatures or warm temperatures, and they pack them in certain ways to increase the shelf life so that you can then still have it and consume it, all different countries around the world. So you want to have something that has stayed on the plant as long as possible so that it could have extracted the highest benefits from that plant and from the soil as possible. And that brings me to the next point, soil health. The general agriculture strips away all minerals and nutrients from the earth. Because it leaves the earth bare, it's plowing up, it's bringing to the surface bacteria and microbes that should not be exposed to sunlight, which will then die. When it rains, there's runoff, which is you are losing minerals in your soil, and they generally only add three things: NPK, nitrogen, potassium, and phosphate. So that will make the plant look healthy, look green, but it be deficient in minerals. It's not a healthy plant. It's not a very strong plant. That's why they have to spray so much herbicide and pesticide and toxins on it to keep it alive. And then that's fruit, that's what you are getting from it. The produce is not going to be as rich in phytonutrients, rich in nutrients as you would like. So organic is better, but really something that's wild is the best. So how do you get to that? Syntropic farming or agroforestry, where you grow things together in a symbiotic relationship like it does in a forest. That is the best way to grow things. Grow lots of things in a small space. using your vertical space as well will enrich the soil, enrich your fruits and your vegetables that you are eating, because the produce that is in general agriculture is been bred to have a longer shelf life, more resistant to diseases and to droughts and to pests and all of these things. So that is not beneficial to our bodies. It causes more allergies, more autoimmune disease, and more microbiome disturbances. So eat natural, wild occurring foods that our bodies have been created for. So fruits, nuts, legumes, seeds, vegetables, those natural plant-based things our bodies recognize, our body can use. So if you look at a grocery store, look at it as a pharmacy. Buy the fresh produce that will be food as medicine to your body. Then it comes to the moderation. If you overindulge, your microbiome suffers. If you eat until you are about 80% full, you decrease your intake by about 20%, then it increases your survival. This has been shown in the studies in the blue zones, the places where people live longer. They don't over-consume food. It takes a while as well for your stomach to signal to your brain, I am full, so about 20 minutes. So to decrease this metabolic stress that you're putting on your microbiome or your intestines by eating large amounts of food is going to impact your health. So you want to eat slowly. You want to chew your food well so that you can absorb more of the materials from the food. You want to break down some of the fiber and add all of the saliva to it so that when it comes to your stomach, you've released some of the enzymes and it's helping your digestion, helping get all of these micronutrients to absorb. So you want to also eat with company, be social. Don't watch television or be on your phone, because that lessens the time that you are eating and increases the amount you are eating. So you want to eat over a longer time, but a smaller amount. And this goes with being social, with talking, with being with family, with interacting with people. So this is another way to increase your microbiome health, to decrease your stress and to be with company, to be social. And what you are eating should also be more sustainable, things that you like to eat, things that are easy to eat, things that you know how to cook, know how to eat. So what's the original fast food? A fruit from the plant, from the tree, from the bush. You take it, you eat it. That is the definition of fast food. So a lot of these fruits and vegetables, nuts, seeds, legumes, you don't have to do a lot to eat it. Some of them you do. Some legumes you need to soak, and you need to drain, and you need to pressure cook or to get them to soften. Something like a tomato or an onion, you can lightly cook into a sauce, and that will increase the release of the beneficial substances like the lycopene. So some of them it's good to cook, others you want to have fresh. So most of the fruit you want fresh. Some vegetables you want to cook a little bit to really get those rich mix of nutrients. So I've talked about water, activity, your whole foods, decreasing your stress, looking out for your environment, the additives in food, being social. Religion is also very good for your overall health and your microbiome. Then I'll just talk a little about individual things. So lycopene, catechins, resveratrol, quercetin, and genistein. These are some of the very potent antioxidants, anti-inflammatories that are really beneficial to your system, and they switch on the beneficial genes in your body. So you are replicating healthy and vigorous genes that will combat disease. Then one thing that I really want to talk about is vitamin C. Our bodies don't make vitamin C. We need to consume that vitamin C. Vitamin C has been found to be DNA protective. Within 20 minutes of consuming something with a high vitamin C level, it protects your DNA by more than 20%. And in the citrus fruit, the peels are even more powerful than the actual fruit. So you want to try and get the peel in as well. So vitamin C is an potent antioxidant, potent anti-inflammatory, and protects that DNA replication, gene replication process. So vitamin C is extremely important. You need a lot of vitamin C. When you know you've had too much, you'll get diarrhea from vitamin C, and this you really only get when you are taking supplemental vitamin C. So you can really take a lot of vitamin C without it being harmful to your body. And when it is harmful, it's only a bit of diarrhea. As soon as you stop taking those high doses, it will disappear. And just touching on that, the waste, your poo that's coming out, is about 50% bacteria. So you are then just removing the harmful bacteria. So even if you are fasting, you'll still be eliminating waste. Your fecal matter will still be moving because that is mostly bacterial waste. So you'll eliminate harmful bacteria, you'll eliminate old bacteria, bacteria that are not working like they should. So this will all be eliminated. So then I'll touch on some food that are really beneficial to your body. So citrus fruits, as I've mentioned. Berries are especially also good for your brain. Nuts, because they contain the good fats and in the right amounts, as well as fiber. And in nuts, it's the right mix of carbohydrates, proteins, fats, nutrients that suit our bodies. For example, in animal products, it's too much fat, too much protein, and not enough nutrients and no fiber. So that is really important to note. So something like a bitter melon or bitter gourd, these bitter vegetables are really good because they help other things taste better. And things with a slight bitterness have enzymes that will also help digestion and release beneficial phytonutrients into your system. And then you have the added benefits of other things tasting better afterwards. That also brings to mind something like ginseng. It's a little bit of a bitter taste, but it's really beneficial. It invigorates your whole system. Then something like tomato sauce that has lycopene, teas like rooibos tea with the tannins and the catechins that are beneficial to your body. Kiwi, papaya, grapefruit, they all contain added enzymes that help digestion. And there are many fruits that will have enzymes in them that will accelerate and help with digestion so that your body doesn't have to do as much. So it decreases the metabolic stress when you are eating. So those are just some of the things that are beneficial. There are so many more. There are more than 2,000 different kinds of fruit alone, not including nuts, seeds, and vegetables. So you can really consume a wide variety of foods to use your food as medicine and to increase your gut microbiome health. So if you focus on some of these things, your gut microbiome will thrive. So as always, stay healthy and to God be the glory.